In the small, tenant neighborhood of Iron Ridge Township, a tragic fire erupted during the annual Memorial Day barbecue, claiming numerous lives. My beloved husband, Claude Hart, was a fierce attorney known for never losing a case. In a controversial move to defend his first crush, Kate Goodwin, accused of arson and self-defense, Claude convicted 3 individuals posthumously. Unaware one of them was me, carrying his unborn child. When he discovered the harrowing truth, he wept at my gravesite, his mind shattered by grief. In court, my spirit hovered, watching Claude fiercely defend Kate with the eloquence and determination that made him the most feared attorney in Crestview Metropolis. With every slide of the laser pointer over the gruesome images of the charred bodies, his disdain was palpable. Claude didn't smile at his beloved Kate until he won the case. Kate's action is self-defense. The criminals had started the fire. So, I submit to the judge that Kate is not guilty of murder and arson. The criminals set the fire and caused their deaths. They had it coming. His victory won applause. Well said, Mr. Hart. Thanks for protecting a woman's right to self-defense. It is a triumph of justice. But my spirit mocked their ignorance. No one knew one of those bodies was mine, wrongly accused by my husband. Kate and I had been hiking that fateful day, both kidnapped, but people acknowledged her plight only. Blurred memories of my death haunted me. The monsters drowned me in acid, and my body was reduced to nothing before somehow being counted among the victims of the fire. Upon leaving the courtroom, Claude received a call from his mother, Gabrielle Hart. Claude, you've been so wrapped up in the case, and I didn't want to bother you, but Claire hasn't been home for days and her phone is off. I was an orphan, adopted by the Hart family after my parents, who were their loyal bodyguards, died protecting Claude. Seeing my plight, Gabrielle showed me kindness unlike any other in the Hart family. Ignore her, she's grown to headstrong. She knows her way home. She was hiking with Kate. If anything, her silence put Kate in danger. It's high time she learned her lesson. Claude coldly dismissed Gabrielle's concerns. His indifference stung. That was the man my parents died for, who promised to care for me forever. But when Kate returned, my place in his heart and home crumbled to nothing. Clinging to Claude, Kate played the victim. Does Mrs. Hart dislike me that much, despite being the real victim here? Claude reassured her, blaming me for not coming forward sooner, painting me as a selfish and ungrateful woman. Listening to their conversation, all I could do was laugh bitterly at the cruel twist of fate. Claude, do you even realize one of those you condemned today was me? How unfair you are to only worrying about Kate, never once considering my fate, I cried, unseen and unheard. As my tears fell unseen, Claude walked through me, his final words a testament to his true feelings. We never should have taken her in, too cunning by far. At last, my spirit lingered, a painful reminder of the heartbreak and injustice born out of love and sacrifice. I couldn't hold it in any more and yelled after his retreating figure, Claude, you jerk. Gabrielle schemed to drug his drink and lure me into his bed, thinking she owed me and fearing to tell Claude about her cancer diagnosis, confiding in me instead. She worried that with her gone, no one would look after me. But to my shock, Gabrielle tampered with Claude's drink and my soup that night. When I woke up, I found myself in Claude's bed, and before I could even process what happened, he had thrown me out along with the blankets. I never thought of guilt-tripping him. He always had the upper hand. Even our marriage certificate was acquired through Gabrielle's manipulations. I got entangled with the Hart family until my last breath. It was their family who drove me to this end. After Claude left, my spirit felt compelled to follow him. As we left the courthouse, Claude's childhood friends greeted Kate with white sages, a traditional gesture to ward off evil spirits. A few swipes with the sages sent my lightweight spirit flying far, crashing into a nearby stone bench. Thankfully, being a spirit meant no pain. I knew it. With Claude around, Kate would be fine, one of them said. Another suggested, to celebrate Kate's safety, let's hit the bar and party till dawn. Claude offered a doting smile, opened the car door, and carefully guided Kate to the passenger seat, protecting her head as she got in. Once in the car, Kate voiced her concern. Mrs. Hart had a point. It's been days since we've heard from Claire. I'm worried something might have happened to her. I'd feel guilty for life if we were hiking together and something happened to her. I scoffed. Yeah, we went hiking together, but somehow I'm the one who's dead, just my bad luck. Claude snorted impatiently, loosening his tie to reveal his tan skin. If she hadn't been obsessed with visiting her parents' grave and dragged you into that hike, leaving you alone in the woods, you wouldn't have encountered those psychopaths. She abandoned you, and now, acting all high and mighty, she doesn't even answer calls or come home. I think Claire is just headstrong, not a bad person. Besides, her family has been good to you. Kate pretended to reason. Claude scoffed again dismissively. I've repaid whatever I owed them. You don't need to defend her. After going through something so traumatic, let's just relax and take your mind off things. You must be pretty shaken up. Sitting in the back, I started laughing, which soon turned into tears. I could almost see Kate smirking triumphantly. Kate insisted on the hike, but somehow it got twisted as if I were the one who insisted. Claude was always predisposed to blame me. Halfway up the mountain, someone knocked me unconscious from behind. When I woke, I was in a dark, moss-covered room, the air foul with decay. 3 monsters then brutally murdered me, leaving my stomach bleeding profusely. Claude's phone ringing snapped me back to reality. Hello, is this Claude Hart? We're police from Crestview Metropolis. We're investigating a murder. What's your relation to Claire Floyd? Claude pulled over sharply. She's involved with the murder now? He still thought I was causing trouble, a cold glint in his eyes. She might be in trouble. We found her clothes and shoes near the site of the triple murder case he worked on. A frown creased Claude's forehead. She's probably run away from home again, playing games, just waiting for me to find her. Leaving her shoes is just part of her act. There's no need to go looking. She come home once she's had enough fun, he said before he hung up, leaving the detective baffled. But the discovery of a severed finger in a bag prompted another call to Claude. The detective said, you might want to come over. We also found a severed finger. The smaller burned body from today's case was missing a finger. We're doing a DNA comparison. You should come. Claude froze. That missing finger had eluded a massive search effort because the smaller body had been further disfigured with acid, making identification impossible. Claude answered, I'll be right there. In the back seat, I looked at my missing ring finger, recalling the pain each escape attempt from that dark room came with violence. Once, they broke my finger and discarded the wedding ring Claude had given me, leaving me in agonizing pain. That agony was unforgettable even in my spectral form. I followed Claude and Kate to the detective's office. When the detective pulled out a severed finger, Kate's eyes rolled back and her legs gave way, leaning heavily against Claude. Claude, is this Claire's finger? Didn't she run away from home? How could something like this happen? Holding Kate by her shoulders, Claude was in denial. It can't be. Claire had a ring on her ring finger and this one doesn't. The detective asked Mr. Hart, are you sure it's not Miss Floyd's because we found it near her phone? Claude nodded, I'm sure. The detective cracked a small smile, noting that Claude's detailed knowledge about the ring suggested a close relationship with Miss Floyd. I watched from the side, sneered. That ring would always be on my finger as if embedded in my bones because it was too small. I forced it on, thinking it would loosen over time. I thought Claude's heart would soften over time as well. But the ring became a part of me, impossible to remove. Regrettably, the detective approached with the forensic report. The DNA doesn't match Claire's, but the shoe was confirmed to be hers. Would you like to take it with you, or should we keep it here? Seeing Claude and Kate together, the detective asked with suspicion, Mr. Hart, may I ask what your relationship with Miss Claire is? Claude snorted, strangers. Strangers, even my spirit shuddered at that. We were married and had sex. He was my lawful husband. Aware of the marital status, the detective found it odd and glanced at Kate again. Terrified, Kate sought refuge in Claude's embrace. Claude, I can't stand being here anymore. Let's go. Claude's expression darkened as he told the detective, leave it here. She comforted herself, she's fine. Claude believed I was only hiding, throwing a tantrum. The detective frowned, disappointed by the lawyer's apparent infidelity. Floating above, I scoffed at myself, I won't be returning. Not ever, in your heart, I was just a stranger. His indifference was like that day I had an accident. There was a moment when I woke up, my phone nearby, and I called Claude, but he had coldly dismissed me. What's your drama now? Cutting wrists or jumping off the roof? Then the monsters found me on the phone and threw it away. Once outside the police station, Claude dialed a number. Richard, is Claire with you? Richard had always looked out for me, giving me the best of everything. Despite being a business prodigy, he ended up in jail for a crime he didn't commit, all because he protected me. He had just come out of prison. Richard said, I was hoping you'd tell me. She was supposed to pick me up from jail 7 days ago, but I haven't been able to reach her for days. Claude sneered, you're covering for her again, huh? Believe it or not, I can have you back in jail for kidnapping. Richard roared, Claude, have you lost your mind? I want to know what you did to Claire. You promised to take care of her if I went to jail. Where is she now? Claude yelled, tell her if she likes staying with you, she might as well stay there forever. Even if she dies, I won't give her another glance. Watching Claude, I felt only hopeless. He always thought I loved Richard while greedily chasing after him, playing games with both men. Just a word to Richard would earn me endless scorn from Claude. Richard fumed, Claude, you'll regret it. I called the police when Claire disappeared. Damn it, you were her guardian once. That was why the police contacted you. If something happened to her, I'll make you pay, including for the time I spent in jail. I wouldn't mind suing you for threats. Claude scoffed, whatever game Claire's playing, she just wants me to marry her. Tears blurred my vision. I wished I could tell Richard not to confront Claude, the heartless man. It would only bring harm. He was cold and uncaring. No, his heart belonged to Kate. I remember promising Richard that I'd pick him up from jail. When we got back home, Claude locked me up and ordered the staff to keep a close eye on me, forbidding me from leaving. That night, as I protested, insisting on keeping my promise to Richard, Claude overpowered me, his eyes filled with fury. You wanted to get into my bed to have me marry you, and yet you still have the nerve to chase after other men? Or is this another test to see if I get jealous? Claire, drop your little schemes. I retorted, I didn't. Richard has always been my best friend. You imprisoned him, I just wanted to make things right. Suddenly, he gripped my chin, sneering, from today on, you can't see him without my permission. I questioned him, and what about you? You're going to see Kate for her birthday, right? Mind your business. After saying that, Claude left to meet his childhood sweetheart, who always held his affection. What classic double